वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सह गणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं साद्वधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सह गणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधाकांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारणे होल वर्ल्ड तारणे शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीर्यत नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु उत्तम भागवतसे प्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्या उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So we'll start with chapter 2, reading of chapter 2, and maybe all of us can probably read 2 to 3 paragraphs or probably more so that we're able to cover in one reading itself. Right? Okay. So Vidit Prabhuji, do you want to first read the chapter? The first 2 paragraphs.
Chapter 2, Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. Yes, King Kamsa not only occupied the kingdoms of the Yadu, Bhoja and Andhaka dynasties and the kingdom of Surasena, but he also made alliances with all the other demoniac kings as follows: the demon Pralamba, demon Baka, demon Chanura, demon Trinavarta, demon Aghasura, demon Mustika, demon Arishta, demon Dvivida, demon Putna, demon Keshi, and Dhenuka. At that time, Jarasandh was the king of Magadh province, known at present at Bihar state. Thus, by his diplomatic policy, Kansa consolidated the most powerful kingdom of his time under the protection of Jarasandha. He made further alliances with such kings as Banasura and Bhaumasura until he was the strongest. Then he began to behave most infamously towards the Yadu dynasty, into which Krishna was to take birth. So Mataji, in this paragraph it is saying कि कंसा ने सिर्फ यदु भोजा और उनकी डायनेस्टीज नहीं ली थी, उन्होंने सुरसेना को भी लिया था और उन्होंने बहुत सारे डिमोनियक किंग लाइक प्रलंबा, बका, demon like बका, चानूरा, त्रिनावर्ता, घसुर, पूतना, इन सबको भी अपने उसमें करा था ताकि ये बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रांग बन जाए.
Yes. Thank you Vidit Prabhuji.
Mataji, you said 2 paragraphs.
Okay, go ahead.
Being harassed by Kamsa, the king of the Yadu, Bhoja and Andhaka dynasties took shelter in different states, such as the state of Kurus, the state of Panchalas, and the state known as Kshik Salwa, Vidbharva, Nishadha, Vidhe, and Kaushal. Kamsa broke the solid solidarity of the Yadu kingdom as well as the Bhoja and Andaka. He made his portion the most solid within the vast tract of land known at that time as Bharatvarsha.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So yes, here it simply said that because Kansa aligned with so many kings, his position became very strong in Bharatvarsha. Okay. So Hare Krishna Mataji, uh, Sadhya Mataji or Nishta Mataji or Anita Mataji, if you could read the next 2-3 paragraphs.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Anita Mataji. Tanna Pranam. Tanna Pranam. Yeah.
When Kams was killing the 6 babies of Devki and Vasudeva, one after another, many friends and relatives of Kams approached him and requested him to discontinue these heinous activities, but all of them became worshippers of कंस कंस के विरोध में बोले थे रिलेटिव फ्रेंड्स बट बाद में फिर वर्शिप कर रहे थे कंस की.
Yes.
When Devaki became pregnant for the 7th time, a plenary expansion of Krishna known as Anant appeared within her womb. Devaki was overwhelmed with both jubilation and lamentation. She was joyful, for she could understand that Lord Vishnu had taken shelter within her womb. But at the same time, she was sorry that as soon as her child would come out, Kamsa would kill him. At that time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, being compassionate upon the Yadus, who were fearful due to the atrocities committed by Kamsa, ordered the appearance of Yog Maya, his internal potency. Krishna is the Lord of the universe, but he is especially the Lord of the Yadu dynasty. योग माया भी आई थे और देवकी के वॉम्ब में कृष्णा अपीयर्ड हुए थे. यही है
Anand Sheshapur appeared. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. So Devki was worried क्योंकि she was happy also, but she was worried कि जैसे ये baby बाहर निकलेगा तो so Kansa will kill him. So then Krishna ordered something to Yog Maya. वो हम आगे सुनेंगे कि कृष्णा ने योग माया को क्या बोला करने के लिए. Okay. So Sadhya Mataji or Nishta Mataji. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yes.
Yog Maya is the principal potency of the personality of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is stated that the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has multi-potencies, Parishya Saktir Vividheva Sriyate. All the different potencies are acting externally and internally, and Yog Maya is the chief of all potencies. The Lord ordered the appearance of Yog Maya in the land of Brajbhumi in Vrindavan, which is always decorated and full with beautiful cows. In Vrindavan, Rohini, one of the wives of Vasudeva, was residing at the house of King Nanda and Queen Yashoda. Not only Rohini, but many others in Yadu dynasty were scattered all over the country due to their fear of the atrocities of Kansa. Some of them were even living in the caves of the mountain. The Lord thus informed Yogmaya under the imprisonment of Kansa are Devaki and Vasudeva, and at the present moment, my plenary expansion, Shesha, is within the womb of Devaki. You can arrange the transfer of Shesha from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. After this arrangement, I am personally going to appear in the womb of Devaki with my full potencies. Then I shall appear as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, and you shall appear as the daughter of Nanda and Yashoda in Vrindavan. Since you will appear as my contemporary sister, and since you will quickly satisfy desires for sense gratification, People within the world will worship you with all kinds of valuable presentations, incense, candles, flowers, and offerings of sacrifice. People who are materialistic perfection will worship you under the different forms of your expansions, which will be named Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi, Kumuda, Chandrika, Krishna, Madhavi, Kanyaka, Maya, Narayani, Ishani, Sharada, and Ambika. Krishna and Yogmaya appeared as brother and sister, the supreme powerful and the supreme power. Although there is no clear distinction between the powerful and the power, power is always subordinate to the powerful. Those who are materialistic are worshippers of the power, but those who are transcendentalists are worshippers of the powerful. Krishna is the supreme powerful, and Durga is the supreme power within the material world. Actually, people in the Vedic culture worship both the powerful and the power. There are many hundreds and thousands of temples of Vishnu and Devi, and sometimes they are worshipped simultaneously. The worshipper of the power, Durga, as the external energy of Krishna, may achieve all kinds of material success very easily, but anyone who wants to be elevated transcendentally must engage in worshipping the powerful Krishna, Krishna consciousness. So in this, it is explained how, Yog Maya is the principal potency of personality of Godhead, and how the Lord Krishna's brother Balram was like shifted from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. Then they are talking about. What do you call it, the younger sister of Lord Krishna.
Yeah.
And then in the last one, it is like, what do you call it? It is they're talking about the powerful, supreme powerful. The supreme power is Lord Krishna, and then Durga Devi is called the supreme power. So there is difference. Some people worship Lord Krishna, and some worship Durga Devi. But Krishna consciousness, the powerful Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So that is the supremacy
Yes.
of worshipping. I can't
That is.
like,
Yes, Mataji, very nicely that rightly said. Yes, that's the topmost. That
yeah.
the transcendentalist worship the powerful. Yeah.
For me also, it is, I'm a beginner. So even, I will take some time to um, elaborate it well to make everybody understand.
No, Mataji, you explained very nicely. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Nishta Mataji. Mataji,
Yes,
will you read
Hare
next two, three
Krishna.
paragraphs?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
The Lord also declared to Yog Maya, my plenary expansion Anal Shesh is within the womb of Devaki. On account of being forcibly attracted to the womb of Rohini, he will be known as Sankarshan and will be the source of all spiritual power or bal by which one can attain the highest bliss of life, which is called Raman. Therefore, the plenary portion will be known after his appearance either as Sankarshan or as Balram. In the Upanishads, it is stated that Nayam Atma Bal Hinen Labhya. The purport is that one cannot attain the supreme platform of self-realization without being sufficiently favored by Balram. Bal does not mean physical strength. No one can attain spiritual perfection by physical strength. One must have the spiritual strength which is infused by Balram or Sankarshan. Anant or Shesh is the source of power which sustains all the planets in their different positions. Materially, thus sustaining power is known as the law of gravitation, but actually it is a display of the potency of Sankarshan. Balram or Sankarshan is the source of spiritual power or the original spiritual master. Therefore, Lord Nityanand Prabhu is also the incarnation of Balram, is the original spiritual master. and the spiritual master is the representative of Balram, the form of supreme personality of Godhead who supplies spiritual strength. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is confirmed that the spiritual master is the manifestation of the mercy of Krishna. Thus, ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yogamaya circumambulated the Lord, then appeared within this material world according to his order. When Yogamaya, the supreme power of the supremely powerful personality of Godhead, transferred Lord Shesh from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, both Devaki and Rohini were under Yogamaya's spell, which is called Yog Nindra. When this was done, people thought that Devaki's seventh pregnancy had been a miscarriage. Thus, although Balram appeared as the son of Devaki, he was transferred to the womb of Rohini to appear as her son. After this arrangement, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, who is always ready to protect his unalloyed devotees, enter within the mind of Vasudev as the Lord of the whole creation with full inconceivable potencies. It is understood in this connection that the Lord Krishna first of all situated himself in the unalloyed heart of Vasudev and was then transferred to the heart of Devaki. He was not put into the womb of Devaki by seminal discharge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by its inconceivable potency, can appear in any way. It is not necessary for him to appear in the ordinary way by seminal injection within the womb of a woman. So, should I read the next also?
Mataji, Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay. When Vasudev was sustaining the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, he appeared just like glowing sun, whose shining rays are always unbearable and scorching to the common man. The form of the Lord situated in the pure unalloyed heart of Vasudev is not different from the original form of Krishna. The appearance of the form of Krishna anywhere and specifically within the heart is called Dham. Dham refers not only to Krishna's form but also to his name, his qualities, and his paraphernalia. Everything becomes manifest simultaneously. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So you can explain.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji. Yes, thank you. So, Mataji, here it is primarily explained that that Balram, who was named Sankarshan because he was transferred from the attracted from the womb of Devaki to Rohini. He was known as Sankarshan, and Balram because Bal means strength and Ram means pleasure given. It's not the physical strength, but it is a strength for spiritual activities. And Balram is the original spiritual master, and all the spiritual master are representatives of Balram only. That is what Srila Prabhupada says, that all spiritual masters are representatives of Balram, who is the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead who supplies spiritual strength. So therefore, again, Srila Prabhupada again stressed on the importance of a spiritual master. And yes, I think that's the last part I didn't understand. The appearance of the form of Krishna anywhere and specifically within the heart is called Dham. Dham refers not only to Krishna's form but also his name, his qualities. So which means when Krishna appears in our heart, he comes in the form of Dham. Is that correct, Mr. Mataji? So we can read the next one. Yes, Mr. Mataji, sorry. हाँ नहीं, I was saying कि वो yes, I was saying कि I didn't understand this one line which says that appearance of form of Krishna anywhere and specifically within the heart is called Dham.
जहाँ भी कृष्ण प्रकट होंगे ना उसको धाम कहते हैं, चाहे अगर हमारे हृदय में प्रकट हो जाएंगे,
अच्छा, या
जैसे कहते हैं ना
धरती पे,
कुमार
हाँ,
हृदय सदा गोविंद विश्राम, गोविंद कहीं वैष्णव मोरा प्राण, कि
okay.
जहाँ पे भी, क्योंकि डिवोटीज द कैरी द लॉर्ड इन देयर
Krishna in
हार्ट, तो
heart,
वो चलते
yes.
फिरते तीर्थ कहलाते हैं, तीर्थी
अच्छा,
गुरवंती तीर्थानी तवंतस्थेना गदाभृता। तो उसी तरह जब कृष्ण प्रकट होते हैं, जैसे यहाँ पे प्रकट हुए अभी, तो ये मथुरा धाम बन गया, ये जेल धाम बन गया।
धाम बन गया।
ऐसे ही जो है वसुदेव के हार्ट में प्रकट हुए, तो वसुदेव का हृदय भी धाम
बन
बन
गया।
गया। फिर उनके हृदय से देवकी के हृदय में आए, वो भी धाम हुआ। तो यहाँ पे वो धाम की ब्रॉड डेफिनेशन कह रहे हैं कि सिर्फ जो धाम है वो ये नहीं कह सकते कि जहाँ भगवान प्रकट हुए हैं वो जगह, दिस ट्रैक्ट ऑफ लैंड इज कॉल्ड धाम। लेकिन जो धाम है उसकी ब्रॉडर मीनिंग में वो भगवान के नाम, उनके गुण, उनका रूप, उनका पैराफिनेलिया, जितना भी उनके साथ पार्षद आएंगे, फैमिली आएगा, इस होल एंटोराज, वो सब कुछ धाम कहलाता है।
हाँ, ओके, थैंक यू सो मच।
वो एक साथ ही प्रकट होते हैं। भगवान जब भी आते हैं, जैसे मैंने बताते हैं, तोरा इच्छा संकीर्तन नाडेर हुंकार छाड़ी मुंह वैकुंठ आईनु सपरिवार, द लॉर्ड कम्स, ही ऑलवेज कम्स विद हिज ओन होल एंटोराज, पूरा पैराफिनेलिया, पूरा धाम को लेके आते हैं, वो अपनी पूरी फैमिली को लेके आते हैं। जैसे किंग चलता है ना, ही इज नेवर अलोन, ही इज always surrounded by all his ministers, followers, attendants, servants, queens. They all are followers of the king only. They are not have any specific identity of their own, like independent, but they are all known as राजा की wife, राजा का मंत्री। तो भगवान जब आते हैं तो पूरा ही इज ब्रह्मांड नायक, ही इज लॉर्ड ऑफ द यूनिवर्स, जग के नाथ। तो सोचो, जग के नाथ जब प्रकट हो रहे हैं तो वो कितना सारा कुछ लेके आएंगे। हम वही जो एग्जाम्पल महाराज भी उस दिन दे रहे थे कि कैसे हम लोग एक दो दिन के लिए जाते हैं तो सूटकेस में क्या क्या रखते हैं, और जब भगवान आते होंगे सोचो अपना पूरे लीला करने के लिए, तो वो कितना बहुत उसमें डिटेलिंग। जो हमारे मेंटर हैं स्वरपति प्रभु, वो तो एक एक चीज बहुत डिटेल में पुराणों से लेके बता रहे थे कि कैसे एक एक डेमीगॉड को वो इंस्ट्रक्शन देते हैं। और जब हम लोग ये चैप्टर कर रहे थे क्लास में, और पूरा डिटेल में उन्होंने बहुत डिटेल में बताया कि एक एक इंद्र को क्या क्या बोला, एक एक गणेश को क्या क्या बोला। इट वाज सो ब्यूटीफुल। तो आई एम सॉरी, आई जस्ट गॉट कैरिड अवे।
No, Mataji, thank you. It was very nice. Nectar to the ear. Thank you, Mataji. Nupur Mataji, do you want to read the next two paragraphs, three paragraphs?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has entered the body of Devaki from the body of Vasudeva without being subject to any of the conditions of an ordinary living entity. Since Krishna was there, it is to be understood that all his planetary extensions, such as Narayan and the incarnations like Lord Narsimha and Vara, were with him. And they were also not subject to the conditions of material existence. In this way, Devaki became the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second and the cause of all creation. Devaki became the residence of the Absolute Truth, but because she was confined within the house of Kamsa, she looked like a suppressed fire or like misused education. When fire is kept in a jug, the illuminating rays of the fire cannot be very much appreciated. Similarly, misused knowledge, which does not benefit the people in general, is not very much appreciated. So Devaki was kept within the prison walls of Kamsa's palace, and no one could see her transcendental beauty, which resulted from her conceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kamsa, however, saw the transcendental beauty of his sister Devaki, and he at once concluded that Supreme Personality of Godhead had taken shelter in her womb. She had never before looked so wonderfully beautiful. She could distinctly understand that there was something beautiful within the womb of Devaki. In this way, Kamsa became perturbed because he was sure that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who would kill him in the future, had now come. Kamsa began to think, what is to be done with Devaki? Surely she was Vishnu or Krishna within her womb. So it is certain that Krishna has come to execute the mission of the demigods. And even if I immediately kill Devaki, his mission cannot be frustrated. Kamsa knew very well that no one can frustrate the purpose of Vishnu. Any intelligent man can understand that the laws of God cannot be violated. His purpose will be served in spite of all impediments offered by the demons. Kamsa thought, if I kill Devaki at the present moment, Vishnu will enforce his supreme will more vehemently.
To kill Devaki just now would be the most abominable act. No one desires to kill his reputation. Even in an awkward situation, if I kill Devaki now, my reputation will be spoiled. Devaki is a woman and she is under my shelter. She is pregnant, and if I kill her immediately, my reputation, the results of my pious activities, and my duration of life will all be frustrated. Mataji, आगे पढ़ना है? Should I read next pair also?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Hare
Yes, Mataji. Yes. Thank you.
He further deliberated, a person who is too cruel is as good as dead, even in his lifetime. No one likes a cruel person during his lifetime. And after his death, people curse him. On account of his self identification with a body, he must be degraded and pushed into the darkest region of hell. Kamsa thus meditated on the pros and the cons of killing Devaki at that time. Mataji, आगे.
Hare Krishna. Hi, yes, Mataji. If you want to read, yes, yes.
Kamsa finally decided not to kill Devaki right away, but to wait for the inevitable future. But his mind became absorbed in animosity against the personality of Godhead. He patiently waited for the delivery of the child, expecting to kill him, as he had done previously with the other babies of Devaki. Thus, being merged in the ocean of animosity against the personality of Godhead, he began to think of Krishna or Vishnu while sitting, while eating, while sleeping, while walking, while working, in all situations of life. His mind became so much absorbed with the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that indirectly he could see only Krishna or Vishnu around him. Unfortunately, although his mind was so absorbed in the thought of Vishnu, he is not recognized as a devotee because he was thinking of Krishna as an enemy. The state of mind of a great devotee is also to be always absorbed in Krishna, but a devotee thinks of him favorably, not unfavorably. To think of Krishna favorably is Krishna conscious, but to think of Krishna unfavorably is not Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, do you want to just summarize in one or two lines?
Uh, there's a lot,
हाँ,
but yes, Mataji, I mean, Kansa को सब पता था, he knew everything,
yes.
but he did this act. So obviously वो कृष्ण के पार्षद ही थे, he's a Jay and Vijay.
Mhm. Yes, yes. So Srila Prabhupada just
So
makes one point here that because Kansa was also thinking of Krishna all the time, but because he was thinking unfavorably, so he cannot be termed as a devotee of Krishna. Yes. Sorry, Nipur Mataji, you were saying something, or did I cut you? Nipur Mataji?
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, were you?
No, Mataji, I was not saying anything.
Okay.
You continue, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So at this time, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by the great sages like Narada and followed by many other demigods, invisibly appeared in the house of Kamsa. They began to pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in selected verses, which are very pleasing to the devotees and which award fulfillment of their desire. The first words, sorry. The first words they spoke acclaimed that the Lord is true to his vows. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna descends in this material world just to protect the pious and destroy the impious. That is his vow. The demigods could understand the Lord had taken his residence within the womb of Devaki to fulfill his vow, and they were very glad that the Lord was appearing in order to fulfill his mission. Then the demigods addressed the Lord of Satyam Param. Then the demigod addressed the Lord as Satyam Param, or the supreme absolute truth. Everyone is searching after the truth. This is a philosophical way of life. The demigods give information that the supreme absolute truth is Krishna. One who becomes fully Krishna conscious can attain the absolute truth. Krishna is the absolute truth because, unlike relative truth, he is truth in all three phases of eternal time. Time is divided into past, present, and future. Krishna is truth always, past, present, and future. In the material world, everything is being controlled by the supreme time in the course of past, present, and future. But before the creation, Krishna was existing. And when there is creation, everything is resting in Krishna. And when this creation is finished, Krishna will remain. Therefore, he is the absolute truth in all circumstances. If there is any truth within this material world, it emanates from the supreme truth, Krishna. If there is only any opulence within the material world, the cause of the opulence is Krishna. If there is any reputation within this material world, the cause of the reputation is Krishna. If there is any strength within this material world, the cause of such strength is Krishna. If there is any wisdom and education within this material world, the cause of such wisdom and education is Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is the source of all relative truth. This material world is composed of five principal elements: earth, water, air, and ether, and all such elements are emanating from Krishna. The material scientist accepts these five primary elements as the cause of the material manifestation, but the element in the gross and subtle states are produced by Krishna. The living entities who are working within this material world are products of his marginal potency. In the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that the whole manifestation is combination of two kinds of energy of Krishna: the superior energy and the inferior energy. The living entities are the superior energies, and the dead material elements are the inferior energy. In this dormant state, everything remains in Krishna. So here, it is stated that the demigods come and they pray to Mother Devaki, to pray to Krishna, who is in the womb of Mother Devaki, and they describe Krishna as the absolute truth. Then they also say that Krishna appear to to keep his vow, like it is given in Bhagavad Gita, yada yada hi dharmasya. And it is also stated that he is the cause of all causes. He has all the six opulence. Everything in this world is because of Krishna. Every opulence is because of Krishna, because he's the originator. And like in Brahma Samhitas, it is said that he's the cause of all causes. Right.
Hare Krishna,
So
Mataji, sorry to interrupt. Actually, Mataji, I think जो Kamsa he was Kal naming his last life, na? Then
yes.
which became a Shishupal and Dantavakra, right?
He was Kalnemi, yes.
Yes,
He was,
yes, I said something else.
no, Kalnemi, yes. Actually, Shishupal and Dantavakra were Jain
Yes,
Vijay. Yes.
Dwapar में आए थे ना
हाँ.
शिशुपाल and Dantavakra.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, yes, with it, Prabhuji, go ahead.
The demigods continued to offer their respectful prayers onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just a sec, Mataji. The demigods continued to offer their respectful prayers onto the supreme form of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, by analytically and by analytical study of the material manifestation. What is the material manifestation? It is just like a tree. A tree stands on the ground. Similarly, the tree of the material manifestation is standing on the ground of material nature. Thus, material manifestation is compared to a tree because a tree is ultimately cut off in due course of time. A tree is called a vriksha. Vriksha means that thing that will be unlimitedly cut off, ultimately cut off. Therefore, this tree of material manifestation cannot be accepted as the ultimate truth because it is influenced by time. But Krishna's body is eternal. He existed before the material manifestation. He is existing while the material manifestation is continuing. And when it will be dissolved, he will continue to exist. Therefore, only Krishna can accept as the absolute truth. The Katha Upanishad also cites this example of the tree of material manifestation. Standing on the ground of material nature, this tree has two kinds of fruits, distress and happiness. Those who are living in the tree of the body are just like two birds. One bird is the localized aspect of Krishna known as the Paramatma, and the other word is living entity. The living entity is eating the fruits of the material manifestation. Sometimes he eats fruits of happiness and sometimes he eats fruits of distress. But the other word is not interested in eating the fruits of distress and happiness because he is self-satisfied. The Katha Upanishad states that one bird on the tree of the body is eating the fruits and other bird is simply witnessing the root of the tree extend in three directions. This means that the root of the tree is in three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Just as the three roots expand, so by association of the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, one expands its duration of material existence. The tastes of the fruits are of four kinds: religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. According to the different association in the three modes of material nature, the living entities are tasting different kinds of religiosity, different kinds of economic development, different kinds of sense gratification, and different kinds of liberation. Practically all material work is performed in ignorance. But because there are three qualities, sometimes the quality of ignorance is covered with goodness or passion. The taste of this material fruit is accepted through five senses. The five senses the five sense organs through which knowledge is acquired are subject to six kinds of whips: lamentation, illusion, infirmity, death, hunger, and thirst. This material body or the material manifestation is covered by seven layers: skin, muscle, blood, marrow, bone, fat, and semen. The branches of the tree are eight: earth, water, ether, fire, air, mind, and intelligence, and ego. There are nine gates in the body: two eyes, two nostrils, two ears, one mouth, one genital, one rectum. And there are 10 kinds of internal air passing within the body: prana, apana, udana, vyana, samana, etc. The two birds seated in this tree, as explained above, are the living entity and the localized supreme personality of Godhead, Paramatma. The root causes of the material manifestation described here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands himself to take charge of the three qualities of the material world. Vishnu takes charge of the mode of goodness, Brahma takes charge of the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva takes charge of the mode of ignorance. Brahma, by the mode of passion, creates the manifestation. Lord Vishnu maintains the manifestation, and by the mode of goodness, and Lord Shiva annihilates it by the mode of ignorance. The whole creation ultimately rests in the Supreme Lord. He is the cause of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. And when the whole manifestation is dissolved and its subtle form as his energy it rests within his body. At present, the demigods prayed the Supreme Personality, Lord Krishna. The Supreme Lord Krishna is appearing just for the maintenance of this manifestation. Actually, the Supreme Cause is one, but less intelligent persons, being deluded by the three modes of material nature, see that the material world is manifested through different causes. Those who are intelligent can see that the cause of one, Krishna, as it is stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Paramaha Krishna, Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of all causes. Brahma is the deputed agent for creation. Vishnu is the expansion of Krishna for maintenance, and Lord Shiva is the expansion of Krishna for dissolution. Should I read one more?
So no, Brother, thank you. So okay. Anita Mataji or Sadhya Mataji, do you want to read the next one?
I'll read it.
Yes, Mataji. Our dear Lord.
By Tracy.
Sure.
Our dear Lord, the demigods prayed, it is very difficult to understand your external form or personality. People in general are unable to understand your actual form. Therefore, you are personally descending to exhibit your original eternal form. Somehow, people can understand the different incarnations of your Lordship, but they are puzzled to understand the eternal form of Krishna with two hands moving among human beings exactly like one of them. This external form of your Lordship gives ever increasing transcendental pleasure to the devotees, but for the non devotees, this form is very dangerous. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is very pleasing to the sadhus, paripranaya sadhunam. But this form is very dangerous for the demons because Krishna also descends to kill the demons. He is therefore simultaneously pleasing to the devotees and dangerous to the demons. Our dear lotus-eyed Lord, you are the source of pure goodness. There are many great sages who simply by samadhi or transcendently meditating upon your lotus feet and thus being absorbed in your thoughts have easily transformed the great ocean of nescience created by the material nature into no more than the water in a calf's hoof print. The purpose of meditation is to focus the mind upon the personality of Godhead, beginning from his lotus feet. Simply by meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord, great sages cross over this vast ocean of material existence without difficulty. O self illuminated one, the great saintly persons who have crossed over the ocean of nescience by the help of the transcendental boat of your lotus feet have not taken away that boat. It is still lying on this side. If one takes a boat to cross over a river, the boat also goes with one to the other side of the river. And so, when one reaches the destination, how can the same boat be available to those who are still on this side? To answer this difficulty, the demigods say in the prayer that the boat of the Lord's lotus feet is not taken away. The devotees still remaining on this side are able to pass over the ocean of material nature because the pure devotees do not take the boat with them when they cross over. When one simply approaches the boat, the whole ocean of material science is reduced to the size of the water in a calf's hoof print. Therefore, the devotees do not need to take the boat to the other side, they simply cross the ocean immediately. Because the great saintly persons are compassionate towards all conditioned souls, the boat is still lying on this side. In other words, one can meditate upon the lotus feet of the Lord at any time. And by doing so, one can cross over the great ocean of material existence. Meditation means concentration upon the lotus feet of the Lord. Lotus feet indicate the personality of Godhead, but those who are impersonalists do not recognize the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore their object of meditation is something impersonal. The demigods express their nature verdict that persons who are interested in meditating on something void or impersonal cannot cross over the ocean of design. Such persons are simply imagining that they have become liberated. O lotus eyed Lord, their intelligence is contaminated because they fall to meditate upon the lotus feet of your Lordship. As a result of this neglectful activity, the impersonalists fall down again into the middle way of conditioned life, although they may temporarily rise to the point of impersonal realization. impersonalists undergo severe austerities and penances to merge themselves into Brahma effulgence or impersonal Brahma existence. But their minds are not free from the material contamination. They have simply tried to negate the material ways of thinking. That does not mean that they have become liberated. Thus, they fall down. In these paragraphs, like Srila Prabhupada says that uh, the ones who are not on an elevated platform, we should not think the what do you call it, exalted devotees, good devotees, they while crossing this ocean of material world, they don't take the boat with themselves. They cross over this ocean of material world very easily,
Yeah.
and we find the boat still there for still lying there for others to help them cross.
Yes.
And the last one I'm not able to understand well, actually about the impersonalists. They go undergo severe austerities and penances to merge themselves. Then the second one, but their minds are not free. Like some devotees, they try, but their mind is so materially contaminated that they don't succeed. Does that mean this? That
No.
they are trying for liberation, but they fall to do so. They fail to do so. But what is the reason behind it? Because they are full of what do you call it? Negativity in them. I am not able to understand this. Okay. That means they are affected by the conditioned life so much that they fail to rise from the desired platform. Does it mean this?
No, yes, Mataji. Actually, realization is at 3 level. So one, so these are impersonalists. That means they believe in God, but they think that God does not have a form. He's not Krishna. They think God is Jyoti, Brahma Jyoti. They think God is a ball of fire. It's a flame. It's Brahm Jyoti. So what they want to do is they believe that at the end of the life, our soul will merge into the Brahm Jyoti. So they are at the first level of realization. That's the reason why they call impersonalist. And Srila Prabhupada says that these impersonalists, even if they merge with the Brahm Jyoti, they will fall down because they do not have full realization. The full realization is that the Lord is personalist. That's the reason why we say Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. So Vigraha means he is a personality. He has a form. He's not a Brahm Jyoti. Krishna is the supreme
So,
person.
does it mean deeply that we should concentrate more on believing in Him 100%, and we should leave everything to Him? But we should not think of merging into Him, because that is not a high position. Does it mean this one?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, Mataji. Thinking on merging in Krishna is not a high position. Yes, that's right. That's right. Hare Krishna Nishta Mataji. Mataji, would you be reading the next paragraphs?
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
It is clearly stated that in Bhagavad Gita that to realize Brahman identification is not at all. Brahman identification may help one become joyful without material attachment or detachment, and to achieve the platform of equanimity. But after this stage, one has to take to devotional service. When one takes to devotional service after being elevated to the platform of Brahman realization, he is then admitted into the spiritual kingdom for permanent residence in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the result of devotional service. Those who are devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead never fall down like the impersonalists. Even if the devotees fall down, they remain affectionately attached to their Lord. They can meet all kinds of obstacles on the path of devotional service, and freely without any fear they can surmount such obstacles. Because of their surrender, they are certain that Krishna will always protect them. As it is promised by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, my devotees are never vanquished. Our dear Lord, the demigods continued, You have appeared in your original unalloyed form, the eternal form of goodness for the welfare of all living entities within this material world. Taking advantage of your appearance, all of them can now very easily understand the nature and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Persons who belong to the four divisions of social order, the brahmacharis, grahasthas, vanpras, and sannyasis, can all take advantage of your appearance. Should I read the next paragraph also?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, please, if you
Okay.
could. Thank you.
Dear Lord, husband of goddess of fortune, devotees who are dovetailed in your service do not fall down from their high position like the impersonalists. Being protected by you, the devotees are able to traverse over the heads of many Maya's commander in chiefs who can always put stumbling block on the path of liberation. Dear Lord, you appear in your eternal transcendental form for the benefit of the living entity so that they can see you face to face and offer their worshipful sacrifices by ritualistic performances of the Vedas, mystic meditation and devotional service as recommended in the scriptures. Dear Lord, if you did not appear in your eternal transcendental form, full of bliss and knowledge, a form in which can eradicate all kinds of speculative ignorance about your position, then all people would simply speculate about you according to the respective modes of material nature. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Nupur Mataji, do you want to read the next few paragraphs?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Yes. The appearance of Krishna is the answer to all imaginative iconography of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone imagines the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to his mode of material nature. In the Brahm Samhita, it is said that Lord is the oldest person. Therefore, a section of religionists imagine that God must be very old, and therefore they depict the form of the Lord like a very old man. But in the same Brahm Samhita, that is contradicted. Although he is the oldest of all living entities, he has his eternal form as a fresh youth. The exact words used in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam are Vijnanam, Ajnanam, and Vida Pamarjanam. Vijnanam means transcendental knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Which Vijnanam is also experienced knowledge. Transcendental knowledge has to be accepted by the descending process of decyclic succession as Brahma represents the knowledge of Krishna in the Brahm Samhita. The Brahm Samhita is Vijnanam as realized by the Brahma transcendental experience, and in that way he presented the form and the pastimes of Krishna in the transcendental abode. This knowledge is Agyan Vidapa Marjanam. That means that which can smash all kinds of speculative in ignorance. People are imagining the form of the Lord. Sometimes he has no form, and sometimes he has a form according to their different imaginations. But the presentation of Krishna in the Brahm Samhita is Vijnanam, scientific, experienced knowledge given by Lord Brahma and accepted by Lord Chaitanya. There is no doubt about it. Krishna's form, Krishna's flute, Krishna's color, everything is reality. Here it is said that this Vijnanam is also defeating all kinds of speculative knowledge. Therefore, without your appearing as Krishna, as you are, neither Agyan Vidapa Marjanam, destruction of the knee signs of speculative knowledge, nor Vijnanam would be realized. In other words, your appearance will vanquish the ignorance of speculative knowledge and establish the real experienced knowledge of authorities like Lord Brahma. Men influenced by the three modes of material nature imagine their own God according to the modes of material nature. In this way, God is presented in various ways. but your presence will establish what the real form of God is. Mataji, should I read next one also?
Yes, Mataji, please. Yes.
The highest blunder committed by the impersonalist is to think that when the incarnation of God comes, he accepts the form of matter in the form of goodness. Actually, the form of Krishna or Narayan is transcendental to any material idea. Even the greatest impersonalist, Shankaracharya, has admitted Narayana Paro avyaktat. The material creation is caused by the avyakta, impersonal manifestation of matter, or the non-phenomenal total reservoir of matter. But Krishna is transcendental to the material conception that is expressed in Srimad Bhagavatam as to the sattva or transcendental goodness. He does not belong to the material mode of goodness, and he is above the position of material goodness. He belongs to the transcendental eternal status of bliss and knowledge.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Oops, sorry, Haji. Oops, sorry. So we have, dear Lord, the husband of goddess of fortune, devotees who are dovetailed in your. No, sorry, we are at.
Mataji,
Ah,
we have to
yes.
read from Dear Lord when you
Oh, dear
appear.
Lord, in person. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I was reading from both online and book. Oh dear Lord, the impersonalist of non-devotees cannot understand that your name is identical to your form. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference between his name and his actual form. In the material world, there is difference between the form and name. The mango fruit is different from the name of the mango. One cannot taste the mango fruit simply by chanting mango,
Mataji,
mango, mango.
Mataji, you have left two paras. Mataji, Dear
Dear.
Lord when you appear.
Oh, sorry. Hey. This one, sorry. Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Dear Lord, when you appear in your different incarnations, you take different names and forms according to different situation. Lord Krishna is your name because you are all attractive. You are called Sham Sundar because of your transcendental beauty. Sham means blackish. Yes, yet it is said that you are more beautiful than the thousands of cupids. Kandarpakoti Kamaniya. Although you appear in a color which is compared to the blackish cloud, because you are the transcendental absolute, your beauty is many, many times more attractive than the delicate bodies of Cupid. Sometimes you and your Giridhari, sometimes you are called Giridhari because you lifted the hill known as Govardhan. You are sometimes called Nandanandan or Vasudeva or Devaki Nandan because you appear as the son of Maharaj Nanda or Vasudev or Devki. Impersonalists think that your many names or forms are given according to a particular type of work and quality because they accept you from the position of a material observer. Our dear Lord, the way of understanding is not to study your absolute nature, form, and activities by mental speculation. One must engage himself in devotional service. Then one can understand your absolute nature and your transcendental form, name, and qualities. Actually, only a person who has a little taste for the service of your lotus feet can understand your transcendental nature or forms and qualities. Others may go on speculating for millions of years, but it is not possible for them to understand even a single part of your actual position. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna cannot be understood by the non devotees because there is a curtain of Yoga Maya which covers Krishna's actual features. As confirmed by in Bhagavad Gita, Naham Prakashaya Sarvashaya. The Lord says, I am not exposed to anyone and everyone. When Krishna came, he was actually present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and everyone saw him. But not everyone could understand that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Still, everyone who died in his presence attained complete liberation from the material bondage and was transferred into the spiritual world. O Lord, the impersonalist or non-devotees cannot understand that your name is identical to your form. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference between his name and actual form. In the material world, there is difference between the name, form, and name. The mango fruit is different from the name of the mango. One cannot taste the mango fruit simply by chanting mango, 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 mango. But the devotee who knows that there is no difference between the name of the form of the Lord chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and realize that he is always in Krishna's company. For persons who are not very advanced in absolute knowledge of the Supreme Lord, Krishna exhibits his transcendental pastime. Such persons can simply think of the pastimes of the Lord and get full benefit. Since there is no difference between the transcendental name and the form of the Lord, there is no difference between the transcendental pastime and the form of the Lord. For those who are less intelligent, like women, laborer, or mercantile class, the great sage Vyasdeva wrote the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata, in the Mahabharata, Krishna is present in his different activities. The Mahabharata is history, and simply by studying, hearing, and memorizing the transcendental activities of Krishna, the less intelligent can also gradually rise to the standard of pure devotees. The pure devotees who are always absorbed in the thought of transcendental lotus feet of Krishna and who are always engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness are never to be considered to be in the material world. Srila Rupa Goswami has explained that those who are always engaged in Krishna consciousness with body, mind, and activities are to be considered liberated even within his body. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Those who are engaged in devotional service to the Lord have already transcended the material position. Krishna appears in order to give a chance to both the devotees and non-devotees for realization of the ultimate goal of life. The devotees get the direct chance to see him and worship him. Those who are not on the platform get the chance to become acquainted with his activities and thus become elevated to the same position. O dear Lord, O Supreme Controller, when you appear on earth, all the demons like Kansa and Jarasandha will be vanquished and all good fortunes will be ushered into the earth. When you walk on the globe, your lotus feet will impress on the ground the mark of your soul, such as flag, the trident, and the thunderbolt. Thus you will grace both earth and us on the heavenly planets who shall see those marks. O dear Lord, the demigods continued, you are unborn, therefore we do not find any reasons of your appearance other than your pleasurable pastimes. Although the reason for the appearance of Lord is stated in Bhagavad Gita, he descends just to give protection to the devotees and vanquish the non-devotees. Actually, he descends for his pleasure meeting with the devotees, not really to vanquish the non-devotees. The non-devotees can be vanquished simply by one kick of material nature, the action and reaction of material nature. Creation, maintenance, and annihilation are being carried out automatically. But simply by taking shelter of your holy names, the devotees are fully protected because your holy name and your personality are non-different. The protection of the devotees and the annihilation of the non-devotees are actually not the business of Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he descends, it is just for his transcendental pleasure. There cannot be any other reason for his appearance.
Should I read the next one?
Yes, Pataji, yes.
Our dear Lord, you are appearing as the best of the Yadu dynasty, and we are offering our respectful, humble obeisances unto your lotus feet. Before this appearance, you also appeared as the fish incarnation, as the horse incarnation, as the tortoise incarnation, as the half man, half lion incarnation, as the boar incarnation, as the swan incarnation, as King Ramachandra, as Parshuram, and as many other incarnations. You appear just to protect the devotees, and we request you in your present appearance as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself to give us the similar protection all over the three worlds and remove all obstacles for the peaceful execution of our lives. Dear Mother Devaki, within your womb is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. appearing along with all his plenary extensions. He is the original personality of Godhead appearing for our welfare. Therefore, you should not be afraid of your brother, the king of Bhoja. Your son, Lord Krishna, who is the original personality of Godhead, will appear for the protection of the pious Yadu dynasty. The Lord is appearing not only but accompanied by his immediate plenary portion Baldeva. Devaki was very much afraid of her brother Kansa because he had already killed so many of her children. So she was very anxious about Krishna. In the Vishnu Puran, it is stated that in order to pacify Devaki, all the demigods, along with their wives, used to visit her to encourage her not to be afraid that her son would be killed by Kansa. Krishna, who was within her womb, was to appear not only to diminish the burden of the world, but specifically to protect the interests of the Yadu dynasty and certainly to protect Devaki and Vasudeva. It is understood that Krishna had been transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki and from there to her womb. Thus, all the demigods worship Devaki, the mother of Krishna. After thus worshipping the transcendental form of the Lord, all the demigods, with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva placed in front, departed for their heavenly abodes. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the second chapter of Krishna, prayers by the demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So we've ended chapter 2, where we see how demigods came and prayed, and Srila Prabhupada gave a very nice explanation on that.
Thank you,
So,
Mataji.
yes, Mr. Mataji.
Can you make me the host and you